Yeah, my topic would be for anybody out there that wants to get into the restaurant or bar business. How do they differentiate between a good deal and a bad deal when it comes to a business for sale? Restaurant Punk, what's up?
What's good? Look at these mother brothers. 2 Greeks and an American. You know what we call this?
Lucky
a party. All we need is tzatziki, Johnny,
Tzatziki,
and some pita.
You know, tzatziki was my nickname growing up because every day before basketball practice, I would eat dinner with the family, and my dad always made tzatziki, and they always said, "Pete,
you played basketball?
Yeah, Greek Orthodox Youth Association basketball."
Sorry, God damn it.
So it's cool. So you play with little fat kids. Great. Way to go, Pete. I'm fat. I can say fat.
No, I was going to say,
I played sports.
Our father,
Heart in heaven.
His tzatziki.
Yeah.
Okay, there was so much garlic in there. All I'm going to say is I was playing basketball as well, and I burped. And less than 5 seconds later, 2 guys were like, "What the is that?" And I was like,
You're like, that's a good woman right there.
All right, guys.
We have a topic?
Yeah, I got one for you.
Great.
I was thinking about it. And I was thinking about
atmosphere, service, and food.
That was a wild episode.
That was crazy.
Right?
Yeah, you and Nico's fight afterwards. You spanked him. He beat Nico up. That's crazy.
True. Stop it. I wanted to ask you guys and our audience as well, or maybe we could give some insights and add some value when it comes to buying. Let's just focus on restaurants, bars, buying somebody else's business. Okay. We're not buying the property.
Just taking the business.
Yeah. For instance, we see this a lot. We see a business owner that does not own the property. They're in a lease. Let's say it's a 5-year lease. They're in year 2 and they're drowning. They need to get out and they want to sell their business. For instance, we'll use nice round numbers. Selling my business for $100,000, turnkey operation, does a great business, walk right in, you're ready to go. And I think a lot of the common sense is from the outside world, they see this and they're like, wow, you could buy this restaurant for $100,000. Let's take it from there. You know, how do you constitute a good deal from a bad deal? And should you do it or should you not do it?
Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
We all have experience in this.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in different industries, there's something to say about absorbing another company and bring their resources into your company when it has to do with having certain just needed mechanics to grow. You just sometimes don't have the right people, the right resources. So absorbing another company for a certain amount of money makes sense. In the restaurant industry, I think it's tough because if you are starting from zero and opening your first place, do you really want to start off with somebody else's footprint? B, on the other end of the spectrum is if you have 15 restaurants, you're doing something right already. What's the need to buy somebody else out and take their name? Like you have 12 restaurants for a reason. You're on a good track. So, but what's the point?
So Agreed. And I think let's use tech as an example.
Yeah.
A bigger company will absorb a smaller company. Yeah. I don't think we're there yet.
No, we're not now.
But I think we're just looking for great opportunities and great value.
Small restaurants and we can take over small businesses now because that's what we can do. It's easier for us. But to take over a big property that has no kitchen, rent is astronomically, you got to redo the floor. But I mean, it's...
Yeah, but there's no part in our industry that you need to absorb somebody else. Like maybe in catering, I think if you're starting off in catering and then you know what, you're building up and you get pretty strong. And I don't know, I'm just throw out around number 500,000. And you're like, I'm doing a solid 500,000 a year. You're seeing,
but you want a brick and mortar
coming in, and then you know what? There's another person around the corner that's doing 250, 300,000.
Are we talking about sales?
Sales. Okay.
Sales and catering, right?
Yeah, and they have, maybe they have contracts with other places. And you know what? I want to absorb this company. I'll buy them out for 80,000 or 100,000. They want to exit out. One less competitor. I'll take their clientele and their thing. Okay,
and that would be for a small market.
That would be for a small market.
Yeah, I think if
we're small, we are a small market. We are where we live and whatnot. We're a small market.
I don't, I think because
our brand is small, but we are very large.
I think as far as Cape May County goes, which I think you're referring to as a small market, it is a small market in the wintertime. But in the summertime, it's large.
Yeah, but that's 3 months out of the year right now. We're talking a full big picture, correct?
Yeah, my topic would be for anybody out there that wants to get into the restaurant or bar business. How do they differentiate between a good deal and a bad deal when it comes to a business for sale? Or is there such thing?
Well, they have they have to know. They have to be in the game to know a good deal.
But they don't know. They don't know. I'm assuming some of you that are watching do not know, but you would like to get your foot into the door. And maybe they have some savings, George.
Make the deal longer. Don't go put everything down right away. That's
what people are afraid to do.
That would be number one out of the list of 5. If we were given advice, actually, George, that's perfect.
Yeah,
if we had to give 5 things to look for, it would be what you just said.
Yeah, so take your $100,000 restaurant and split it over a couple years, 5 years, 10 years, 6 years. So you're not paying everything up front ready to go. So you have time to build it and change it into your brand, correct?
And stop asking for a 1-year lease. I think
worst idea.
I think that would be number one. And we hear that a lot in our business that I think newcomers coming in say to the landlord, I would like a 1-year lease to see if this works out.
No. You can't,
guys. You can't do that.
Whenever you're done,
Yianni is the king of pivoting, making it work, doing whatever needs to get done. And it's happened to us just the one time with the first Shimon location,
correct,
didn't work out. Not because of us, because of cities and laws and something.
Something like that. But, we're not making excuses.
Yeah, and we pivoted and we made it work in part 2, and now we've grown to part 3 where you're running the show with really everything. Well. And I think you're absolutely right. I feel like everybody goes in like, let me get a 2-year lease just to try it out. And it's just not the way.
Yeah. Basically you're saying to everybody and to yourself in the mirror that, you know what, I want to date you before I get married.
No.
And if you're going to go from an employee role into an ownership role, you better get married, because if you're not married, you're dead. You're dead. It's not a
married,
side.
So
what's that?
I'm not married, so I'm not dead. So
Jenny, can we call Jenny in? Can Jenny come and sit on?
Somebody get her on the phone.
So number one would be don't ask for a 1-year lease. Yeah. If you're going to go in, bare minimum 5-year lease.
I think it's still too much though.
Number 2 would be we talk about the cost of buying a business.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people find out afterwards is that we'll use 100,000. My restaurant is for sale for 100,000, turnkey operation. Number 2 would be, how much is the rent? There's rent. You don't buy a business for $100,000, restaurant or bar, and you just buy the business for 100,000 and you're home free.
Yeah.
You actually have to pay rent after paying for that business.
But can you see how the rent can work? Can it work over pay bulk if it where we live in the summertime, pay the majority of it in the summertime instead of just paying it all monthly? Because where we live, December, January, February, March.
Yeah,
that would be a great.
RSs are dead.
That would be a great tip to structure your rent as opposed to when your business is busiest. But then there would be a counter opinion to some restaurateurs or bar owners that are watching that have been in the game for a while. They would say, no. Just spread it out. That way, when you get to your busy season, you'll make more money. So I think there's different ways to go about. Our advice on Restaurant Punk would be to condense your rent.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
If you can.
More in the busy season, less in the off season.
What do you think about people if they want to go the route of percentage based off gross?
Let's make that point number 3. I think a percentage based rent is the best way to go. Now, you'll come across landlords that will say no, they want that fixed number of rent. In other words, I want $2,000 in rent a month. And then you offer, how about instead of the $2,000, I give you 10% of my gross. And they're like, no, this place only did nothing. So I don't want to gamble. Fun fact.
Ooh, I love
George's
facts.
place. My ex-father-in-law told me
what was his name?
George.
Oh, just making sure everybody knows that.
Good one.
Thank you.
So the rent was $60,000 a year. This was in 2002. I said, instead of that, how about I give you 10% of my gross sales? And he went, yeah.
He must be Greek.
No.
Was he Greek?
No. I'm sorry?
Is he Greek?
He is Greek,
Yeah.
yes.
Shocking.
Look, I think most landlords would say that.
Yeah.
Until they learn their lesson and they come across pain. So if you're new and going into a restaurant and you are actually buying the business, if you could throw out a percentage based, it depends on if the landlord
I would
believes
say
you or not.
if you know the landlord more than
Well, if George had taken the 10% instead of the 60,000, he would have doubled his money within 5 years. So he would have been getting 120,000 a year as opposed to 60. I don't like big risk when it comes to that, but what are you gonna do? So
sometimes big risk becomes with big rewards, right?
well,
To give or take, right?
true. Now, number 4, if you're buying that business, where did you get the money to buy that business? Are you borrowing that money from a family or from a bank and you have to repay that? Because you know what that means, guys.
You're starting off in the hole.
Oh, you got to pay that back,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
do
you've done
we
it right.
want that?
No. Well, but you just get,
You need it sometimes, though.
but just find the money and just get started.
yeah,
Find the money. That's our motto, right?
but you don't need to go all out. You don't need to go
I like
all
to
out.
hang it out.
I think I brought that up on another episode. Don't drop in your whole life savings into the finest things for the restaurant, the finest kitchen equipment.
Just
The grill that costs $1,500 compared to the one that costs $11,000, you can get by with the $1,500 one. Times that by 6 pieces of equipment too.
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
get started.
And I think we should, the three of us, do a whole episode on what you just said about what kitchen equipment should I buy for my new
I mean,
restaurant.
they do different things, but we'll save that for another episode. Yes.
Pizza doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
So-
Doo-doo. Nico, get me a shirt made, please. Doo-doo.
Let's finish off with a last tip for a beginner restaurateur that wants to get into the game. I got one as a 5th.
Okay.
If you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, more so 40s.
30s, 40s, and 60s. Perfect.
Asshole. Dick. What a dick. And you are not in the business. And I think there's a dream that, you know what? I hate my job. I hate my life.
no.
I've been doing it for 20 years. You know, it'd be great. I opened a little cafe that has just the best chocolate croissants like I had in Greece. And I'm going to make that store. And then the morning I'm going to be there and I'm going to be so fulfilled and so happy. And this is what I want to do with my life. And I'm going to be rich because everybody's going to love my shit. Is that a fairy tale or is that
It's a
reality?
fairy tale.
Yeah, just because you have the best lasagna, don't base the whole restaurant
No,
around it. Or
you're
chocolate croissants or something like
Start young.
that.
Start young. I mean, unless you know what you're doing, unless you've been in the game as an employee.
Yeah, there's a lot you can't
you can't.
base off buying a property or renting out a property and paying the rent because you make one good thing. There's so many more details that go into that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many.
There's
He's
many.
getting frustrated already.
There's
He's like,
atmosphere.
"There's so many
There's
times."
atmosphere.
Because how many
there's
people do
service,
you
there's
see
food.
doing that? And we see that all the time. How many people go and open a place because the bread I make is phenomenal, and they buy a restaurant. Perfect example.
Oh,
Somebody does something like that. They open up a place, and within 3 years they close. Is that the right way to go about it? No. Who are those girls that sell bread on the street in Cape May?
Oh,
yeah.
Phenomenal bread.
Right. Mhm.
Phenomenal. I've had it
I have no idea.
twice.
Yeah, it's on Sunset
Twice.
Boulevard.
Yeah, on
Shout
Sunset.
out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Excellent.
What?
Excellent.
I like your bread.
But no brick and mortar, no this, no that, no nothing. They bake the bread. They go to the side of the road. They say, we have 50 loaves. They sell out. The line, you've seen the line. It's
Are
at
you
least
serious?
50 yards long. Yeah. I've seen lines stretching down Sunset to
Right.
get bread.
It's about the experience, the atmosphere.
It's about the food.
It's always about the service, how they made the food.
Off.
So for all of you out there that are working your way to get your foot into the door of a restaurant or bar or your dream, those are some of the tips that we can offer. We're not trying to dissuade you from your dream. We're trying to support you in your dream and to make it easier because the transition could kill you if you don't make the right deal. If you have any questions,
I think we could do an episode on each of the 5 steps one by one. I mean, that's how much.
I
info
believe
there
there's
is to
about
look into.
20 steps that we could go over, and maybe we should make a long form video.
Yeah,
A really long form.
Really long.
Yeah, because
form
this stuff can get really
video.
deep. Oh.
So deep.
Before I get too turned on.
Yeah. Next episode is Pete playing basketball.
With tzatziki.
Yes.
Yes, but they won't be able to smell
Yeah.
it. So
Restaurant Pong. Ow!
Peace out. That was fun.
what you got? What do you want?